Hello, hello everyone. How are we? I'm Whitney Reynolds. I'm your MC today, and I have the wonderful pleasure of getting to know all of these speakers. Who was in the first session? Okay, it was so beautiful. We're so glad everyone is here. Now, I do the Whitney Reynolds Show, and we are a talk show dedicated to being a safe space for stories. And I love people, and I love their stories. And today, you're going to learn so much from this stage. Okay, I think it's safe to say that you probably know our next speaker. Priyanka Chopra Jonas has partnered with Marshalls to develop the Good Stuff Social Club since its inception. She is a multi-hyphenate talent and New York Times best-selling author who has captivated global audiences for nearly 25 years, earning numerous awards as both an actor and producer. She has graced the cover of Times Magazine, Times 100 issue as the most influential people issue in the world, and has also been listed in Forbes' most powerful women. I'm telling you, I just got to meet her backstage. She is wonderful. Beyond her achievements in film and television, Chopra Jonas is a successful entrepreneur and investor in multiple brands, in addition to her work as a global ambassador for others. Priyanka is joined by Cate Luzio, founder and CEO of Luminary, a global membership-based career and personal growth platform, founded with the mission to uplift, upscale, and propel women and their allies forward through all phases of personal and professional journeys. Cate is a longtime advocate for empowering women and has been recognized as Forbes' Next 1,000 Entrepreneurs and Inc.'s Top 100 Female Founders. Today, Cate will be speaking to Priyanka about the moments in her life that were catalysts to her personal journey towards the good stuff and the key to helping you create yours. Without any further ado, let's welcome them out. Hi guys.
Hey everyone.
Are we excited to be here or what?
I get the honor and privilege of sitting here next to Priyanka. You all are here to hear about everything that she has done, is doing. And one of the things that we had to talk about is that I am a lifelong Marshalls shopper. It is generational in my family. And so when you became an ambassador for the Good Stuff program, it was just an amazing to see someone like you and all of what you do for women and girls to become this ambassador. So
thank you. I'm dressed head to toe in Marshalls today.
As am I. So we're gonna get right into this, and I've got a bunch of questions. We also have some questions that were submitted by this audience, so I'm gonna get to those as well. But we're here to talk about the good stuff in life and what it means to each of us. And I'm sure as if anyone participated in the mentor session earlier, I really found that empowering to me because so much of what we do today is we forget about real connection. The pandemic, I think, threw us into a tailspin around in real life connection. So the good stuff here, in addition to everything that you're going to hear today, is don't forget about the power of connectivity and people that you're meeting in the audience today. So before we dive into this questions that I have for you, Priyanka, what made you decide to partner with Marshalls, and what does it mean for you to be here today in this conversation?
Well, first of all, I'm very excited to be sharing this room with all of you ladies. It's really, really exciting. You know, I've partnered with a lot of brands over time. I've been doing this now almost 25 years. But I love when the brands that I partner with actually walk the walk and don't just talk the talk. And to me, I participated in the Good Stuff Social Club in New York, which was just about a year ago. And that was the first one that Marshalls ever did, and the first one that I was a part of. And I remember, just like all of you, seeing how much the social club impacted the women in the room and how it helped them sort of just push themselves a little bit further. You know, I think as women, we tend to put ourselves last. We think about everyone else more than we do ourselves. We think about like, we should take care of our families, our children, whoever, our mentors, our teachers. We always put other people first. And I think it was such a great way, it inspired me too, to kind of recognize that you can actually be in charge of your future. You can actually be in charge of your life. And as intimidating and daunting as it is, think about what the next step is and, you know, how I can take that next step. This program really, really helped women find those connections, which is why when she said to remember the women you're sitting around right now, because you should network and talk to them. It's so inspiring to find like-minded people. You know, we're all at the precipice of the next step in your lives, and you're going to be thrown so many wonderful peers and opportunities. I just think it's such an inspiring, like you said, we've lost connections in the world of the internet, I think, as well, and with COVID. I think we're all okay hiding behind our phones and, you know, scrolling sometimes. And I think just being in a room with actual people and being able to communicate there's something really powerful and inspiring about that.
It's so powerful, I think. And again, from the earlier session around mentorship, for those of you that have participated, it was incredible to just hear about, one is the power of relationships in general. So whether you meet someone one time and have a connection, or there's a lifelong relationship created, never underestimate just that one piece of that one spark of a connection, because you never know where that person could show up in your life somewhere down the road. But more importantly, I think just hearing what someone else has to say. I met a young woman. Can you stand up? Who I met earlier when we were doing the mentoring session right here. And can you tell me your name again? Sneha. Okay. Moved here from India, Pune, 6 years ago to pursue her master's degree in software engineering, is now a software engineer at Walgreens, also an avid pickleball player. Took 3 years to convince her parents to move to America, but she's here and she's doing it. And she's here alone and came on her own.
Wow, look at that. Congratulations.
And so
great job.
For me, that was a powerful connection. Now I'll never forget her. I'm going to connect with her on LinkedIn and hopefully we can continue the conversation. And that is part of the good stuff in life. Like, we have to remember that there's so much good in the world. Despite what's happening out there, there's so much good. So can you define or think back, what do you think about as the good stuff in your life? And has that changed over time?
Oh my gosh, I'm really blessed. I don't take it for granted at all. I literally wake up, and this has been happening to me recently a lot more. I wake up every morning and I'm like, I look around me and I get into the car, I go to work, I land on set, and I see how many people are around me helping me do my job. And just every single moment is full of gratitude for me. I don't think I was like that in my 20s. I think as I'm getting older, I have an immense amount of gratitude for every single thing that I have. Maybe it's also acute awareness of how much people don't have. And being really grateful for the opportunity and being able to be there. I'm 100% sure there are so many more talented people around the world than me. I'm 100% sure there is a woman out there somewhere who is definitely better at doing what I do, but just didn't have the access or didn't have the opportunity. And I did. And that changed my future, and it probably wouldn't change hers. So, you know, I really feel like the good stuff in life is being able to focus on creating a life for yourself where you're content, where you wake up every morning feeling so grateful for the life that you have been able to create, or the life that, and it's like, I was a science student when I grew up. I grew up in India and in the States. I went to school in both countries. But, you know, if you think about a molecule and you think about its nucleus, right? Everything else around it moves around the nucleus of that molecule. You're the nucleus of your molecule, and everyone else is moving around you to serve you. And we forget that sometimes. Like, our lives are created. Like, today, my having a conversation, it's serving me. I'm going to take so much from this conversation today, seeing you guys. How is that going to fulfill my life? I think every morning seeking the best of the day, seeking, like, not being overwhelmed by what tomorrow is asking for, not being overwhelmed by what yesterday has done or given to you, but just waking up in the morning and thinking about today. How am I going to be the best in everything that I have to achieve today? And that could be, your mundane everyday life, or it could be, wanting to take a step towards a new goal, or achieving something, or wanting to expand a skill set, or whatever that version might be, but just being great today. And it's like, I used to give this example. In school, if, you have, in India, we have tests that are graded towards the aggregate score of the year. So you'll have every semester you'll have some sort of test, and the aggregate of that score gets added to your final score. So I used to always say that, if you get like an A, or you do your best in all your little tests in your life every day, suddenly you're going to wake up and look at a life which has been great. Mm-hmm. And you didn't have to overthink it, and you didn't have to be burdened by what you couldn't do. You just focused on today and making today excellent, smiling, making people around you smile, being positive, making the best out of whatever has been thrown at you, and finding a sense of calm. I feel like when you operate on that level, and that's not the easiest thing to do, of course, but I think it's a tangible thing you can practice. I practice it. Like, confidence is another thing that's practiced. Yeah. You're not born with it. Nobody's born with it. You kind of have to practice it. It's like vocal lessons, or in my job, acting classes. The more I act, the more at ease I am on set. And if I have a big break and I come back to set, I'm like intimidated and nervous. That happens to everyone. So I think just practicing self-worth, practicing focusing on yourself, practicing being underwhelmed by life versus overwhelmed, because there's so much that's thrown at us. And especially women, we navigate so many things. We balance so much between our families, our homes, our work, our aspirations, emotions. Physically, our body is constantly changing. There's just so many things that I think are burdened upon us that I was just talking about it. Rest is so underrated. And exhaustion is so glorified, isn't it? Oh my gosh, you're exhausted. You must have worked really hard. You're going to be successful. I don't think so. I love having an extremely efficient workday, and I love having an extremely efficient family time when I get back home. It's really, really important to me, and it always has been since I was a young girl, to, come back home to my parents, to my family, to have like people that I know are, my champions in my community, real people, your people, who don't have to be too many, but your friends, the ones that'll be happy for you without expecting anything in return. Those people that will, when you go and tell them what happened in your day, will actually listen and actually be interested. Those are the people to keep around you. And I think those are all the things that make up the good stuff in life.
Yeah, I love that. I'm not able to have children, but I have 10 nieces and nephews, and they are the good stuff in my life. I spend a lot of time from 28 years old down to almost 2 this month.
Listen, whether you have kids or not, having kids in your life that you are a role model to, like, that's the same thing.
Absolutely.
You're a mom in a different way.
Yeah. And I think even starting my company at Luminary is like, I feel like to the community. That's my baby as well. I spend a lot of time. I'm exhausted. No, but I think that also there's been a glorification of, how much success can we achieve, and at what cost. And some of that is sleep. I hear a lot of CEOs, especially as someone who spent 20 years in banking, I only sleep 3 hours a night. And so that became the norm. And for me, that was the norm for a long time. And it's like, that's not a good thing to emulate.
For me too, for the longest. I thought that I was better when I slept less and when I worked more. I still work a lot, don't get me wrong. I'm a multi-hyphenate. I do many, many things. I've just gotten better at time management and the work-life balance. Yeah. I think that whether you're in school or whether you're older, whether you're a CEO of a company, whether you're a homemaker, everyone needs a work-life balance. And your work could be whatever that is. It could be getting your kids out the door in the morning, or it could be figuring out, for me, going to set at 5 a.m. and blurting out like pages of lines. And it's like your brain's not even awake yet, but that's the job, you know? But I think like I used to, when I was younger as well, totally think that, you know, because I've burnt the candle on both ends, now I deserve this success. Now I must get it because I worked so hard and I grinded. It's not true. Success is, first of all, not yours to claim. And let's not be arrogant and entitled and say that, you know, that's something that I'm going to get because I was the one that worked really hard. It doesn't matter. It's not guaranteed. So why not just, instead of working harder, work smarter, get what you want to get, invest what you need to invest, get a good night's rest, be a nice person to be around the next day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
when I don't get enough sleep, you don't want to be around me until I've had at least 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the same if I don't have any food. It's
Yes,
like,
and
right?
you forget to
Yeah,
eat. You
exactly.
forget. You're just like pushing
go.
yourselves, and it's not much. And again, this is something I think I learned in my 40s, but it doesn't take that long to take 5 minutes to have a meal. You know, just sit down. Take a second, 5 minutes, 10 maybe. It doesn't take too long. Like on set, sometimes like people forget to go use the restroom because you can be called upon at any time, right? They forget to eat because you could be called upon at any time. So you're constantly like on this like I'm ready to go mode, which is just like, these are things that will affect your health. And as a young person, I wish when I was in my 20s that I had a little bit more of a semblance of it, because I worked a lot. I did a lot of work. I did like 4 to 5 movies a year. I didn't have Christmases, holidays. I wouldn't, I missed so many of birthdays and family events and Diwali or Christmas. And I remember when my dad passed, I took my first holiday with my mom and my brother after he died. We went for 10 days just to kind of grieve together maybe, or just to feel each other. But I wish I had done more of that when he was alive. But I was so busy running. Again, super grateful for my career and I won't change anything that I did. But I wish that I had taken some time to smell the roses. Like I don't remember my successes at that time because I was just like looking, I don't rest on my laurels. I never have. I always like think about the next thing. And I'm starting to get better at that now. I'm starting to like sit down and say, oh, that, you know, I'm proud of myself for having achieved that. And giving myself a little bit of credit, which I never did. And it's so important.
It is important.
Again, that's important for the good stuff, is you give yourself credit for how hard you work.
Yeah, and taking time to remember all of the sacrifices that you're making for whatever you're going after.
Yeah.
Whether that's a family, whether that's a job, whether that's starting your own company. And I think women are not great at doing that. We teach a workshop at Luminary about self-confidence and self-advocacy, which you said it earlier, we're great at advocating and doing everything for everyone else. Except ourselves. And then that is so true when it comes to the workforce and our jobs and our careers and our compensation. And so we've got to get better at advocating for ourselves, but also patting ourselves on the back at all the amazing and remarkable things that we do every single day to keep going.
Yeah, and I think being able to advocate for yourself will only come from patting yourself on the back.
Absolutely.
Giving yourself the credit to say that, you know, just before you go to bed, just think about how much you achieved during the day. What did you do that, you know, helped not just push you forward, but your family, your friends, your community. And there are days where you don't do anything either.
Yeah.
That's also fine, because that's you loving yourself. Like I do 6-day weeks right now. We have a really aggressive schedule. I'm filming for this show called Citadel, and I'm filming season 2 in London. And we have like 6-day weeks and like 14-hour days and 4 a.m., 5 a.m. wake up calls. And, you know, because we're shooting 7 episodes together, we have like 10 pages of lines, and it can all be extremely overwhelming. But I know this is what I have to achieve in order to get to the finish line. So helping myself be prepared, I think that's really helpful. And, knowing at the end of the day, I like give myself 5 minutes and I think about everything that I achieved today and how it could have been extremely overwhelming and how I could have had a meltdown and how I could have not known my lines and tripped up in front of other actors and got stuck, or like the million things that could go wrong that didn't. Because I am capable of doing my job and keeping myself at check. Remind yourself of how capable you are. We forget to do that. And that does not make you arrogant, and it does not make you have too much pride. It is just you taking care of yourself and being your best friend, because you've only got you. As many people as we have around our lives who tell us, that the people around us who love us, you're born alone, you die alone. This is our solitary journey. So what are you going to do with the one person that's going to be on this journey with you? Be kind to her. Think about her achievements. Think about how much she has sacrificed for you to be where you are today. I posted this picture of myself, which somebody sent to me online, and it was me at 9, and then there was me at 17, and I looked like two completely different people, like completely different. Even I couldn't believe that photo. I was like, why would my mom do that to me? She cut my hair like I
had the same haircut.
Most Indian girls probably do, because our parents couldn't be bothered with our hair for school. So they were like, just cut it off. And I was looking at that photo and I was like, oh my gosh, I thought about myself at 9, and I remembered. And I spent like an hour reminiscing when I saw that photo of what I was at 9 and how I felt. And I remembered that my mom had insisted that, what are those things called that pull up your pants? We call it suspenders. Sorry, in America it's suspenders. In India it's gallus. There's like different names for all these things. But the suspenders, my mom had convinced me that they were a fashionable look at 9, and I would wear suspenders with jeans and a t-shirt with that haircut to school and think I was a cool cat.
That I will tell you, that was the style, because
suspenders,
I'm older than you. I wore suspenders. My first day of 7th grade, white pants, white suspenders, short haircut.
Wow.
So when I saw you post that, actually, I sent it to my mom because it had the side by side.
My suspenders didn't even match my pants. At least you were fashionable.
Well, they were jeans.
I had like a weird
jeans.
printed t-shirt with suspenders, red suspenders, blue jeans. Anyway, I was thinking about that little girl, and then I was thinking about, when I was a preteen and what happened, and just kind of went through my life and actually thought about what at that time my fears were, or what my insecurities were when I was a particular age. And it felt so real. I mean, now I look back and laugh at it, like I was insecure about blah, blah, blah thing. But at that time, it feels so real, right? So whatever you're going through at whatever phase in your life, for your older self, will be something you laugh at. So allow yourself also to not take yourself that seriously when you're feeling big feelings. Because I remember so many big feelings at that age. I remember I'd moved to America for the first time. I was 12 years old. And I was in a high school in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And there was so much space. I was just like, this school is huge. I mean, I had like 80 kids in one class, in my class in school. And, we were slammed against each other. And I remember that I was always backbencher, always sitting in the back, naughtiest in the class, like, passing notes and doing all those things, never afraid of, my teachers. I used to be sent to stand outside the principal's office, and I was just like, whatever. Cut to that confident little 12-year-old comes to this high school in America, and I became invisible, completely invisible. I was so intimidated by whether it was my accent, whether it was understanding other people's accents, whether it was like girls shave their legs in 9th grade, and my mom would not let me do that. I was so intimidated by that. I was like, wait a second. Little things that I remember for the first week of school, I ate lunch in the bathroom, and I used to grab chips from the vending machine because I was so scared of the cafeteria. I never had cafeteria. We took like tiffin, which, lunch from home. In my school in India as an 11-year-old. So now I was like, wait a second. So I remember the cafeteria was down the stairs and it was a massive cafeteria. So I remember I used to stand on top of the stairs and just watch what the kids did because I didn't know what you're supposed to do. So I used to watch them, grab a tray, put the tray down, get a plate, put the plate. And then, we used to have coupons that you used to give to the lunch lady. Little things like that, which I had no concept of. And I was just thrown into the school, which I had to eventually figure out. Again, we'll laugh about it today, but at that time it felt so big. Yeah. And a week later, I made a friend who walked me down, and I remember mistaking mashed potatoes for vanilla ice cream. I didn't know what mashed potatoes were. And I was like, I think this is spoiled. It's not supposed to be warm. And she was like, what? So little, really intimidating times, but we get past them.
Yeah, but you do get past them. And that's the point. And I think in the moment, whether you're 9, you're 12, you're 25, you're 35, you're 45, you get past them. But oftentimes, yes, it's that person inside of us that can show up and be confident and move forward. My dad used to say, every time you get pushed down, you pick yourself up, you brush yourself off, and you keep going. That was all related to sports when I was younger, but it is my mantra now because we are going to fall down and we are going to not know what to do. But one of the things that I love about what we're doing with the Good Stuff Social Club and ultimately with the Accelerator program is this community aspect. And community is important from a cultural standpoint, from a familial standpoint, as we work. As you look in your career in particular, how much has community meant to you and accessing people to help, to ask advice, mentorship, support?
I think, human beings are not born islands. Like, we're not supposed to be alone. We're not supposed to be by ourselves. We are supposed to have communities. From time immemorial, we've created villages, we've created, civilizations because we're meant to come together and create together. So I think each one of us having our own, again, I'll go back to my molecule reference, having our own protons and, electrons rotating around us. Like, who are your people? Who is your community? Finding that is really crucial. It doesn't matter if you have 50 people who are your friends. Who are those people that you keep around you that you can go for advice? They may or may not know anything about what you're talking about, but will be there for you and will give you the right direction. And the second thing is to find mentorship at work. Now, that's a completely different thing because in your personal life, we have our guards down. We can identify the people that we want to keep in our lives and who we want around us. But at work, that gets tough, right? Because you're like, how can I approach this person? Will this affect my career negatively? Like, what will they think of me if I ask them? There's so many questions that come into your brain. And I feel like the one way of doing it is getting noticed, right? Getting noticed at work for doing a good job. And without being extra keen, without being showing other people how hard you're working, without being the loudest one in the room. But if you are the one that your boss or whoever you're working with can depend on, if you're consistent, if you're someone who comes prepared always, if you're someone who everyone wants to work with because you just know your job and you're good at it and you're not wasting anybody else's time, you'll immediately see people around you that you can ask for advice. You'll immediately see people around you that will want to, come closer to you and empower you. But look how it started. It started with you empowering yourself. How am I going to be indispensable to my workplace without being annoying? Really crucial.
Be engaged.
Yes.
Be
being
visible.
engaged, being aware, doing your job because you know what you need to do in order to achieve the task versus being the loudest one in the room or versus being the one that tells everybody how much they're working. People who actually do the work don't talk about it. You just put your head down and you do your job, and then everyone around you will notice because you will be excellent at it and you're not wasting anybody's time. So I think efficiency at work will allow, and being in whatever that work might be, again, your version of it, but I think that really helps attract the right kind of people to notice you, and then that'll give you a sense of confidence too, to be able to be like, oh my gosh, I am good at what I do and I'm indispensable.
Yeah, I think it reinforces
a sense of confidence,
right? A sense of confidence. All of the stuff that we're doing isn't going unnoticed. Yes. And I think back to this idea of being confident and that self-confidence, you do have to talk about the things that you're bringing to the table. Yeah. You do have to, in that mid-year, year-end performance, or whenever you're talking to that manager, is talk about all the stuff that you're contributing.
Absolutely.
And then using the mentors around you, whether that's within the workplace or outside of it, to, one, give you a sort of a gut check to around where you're at. So if you look back at your career, right, maybe earlier on, or even now, as you're this multi-hyphenate, you've got so much going on in your life. Is there one person or a person that you know that no matter what you do, you can always count on them? Or is it a group?
I think I have a few people like that. My mom, definitely. She's like, she's definitely my gut check. My husband, he'll always tell me the truth. I mean, he'll kind of, velvet glove it a little bit. Not like my mom, who'll just say it as it is.
Yeah.
Moms get away with saying like the realist things. And you're like, only a mother would say that. You're like, oh, you woke up looking tired today, huh? Didn't get enough sleep? Like, I'm literally on camera, Mom, in an hour. Thanks. Should be sleeping more. I keep telling you that.
My mom is the same.
Like, why? Yeah. Just be real. Not been sleeping well. But I think that's for sure. My best friend, she's been my best friend for almost like 20 years. She's harsh, though. She's like my sister. And she will that's a gut check person, who's like, does not care about how you feel, but will just tell you as it is. Sometimes I'm afraid to call her too. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's just going to give it to me way too real.
Yeah.
I'm not prepared for this. But yeah, I think I don't like having sycophants around me. I think I feel gaslit and I feel like I'm in a bubble and I don't know what's happening in the world. If you have people around you that are always like, oh my gosh, you're the best. And, just you can do nothing wrong. And just a lot of people, I think, we have the choice to choose the people that we keep around us. And that makes us who we are. It's so crucial to choose the right people around you. And definitely it's easier when, it's at a surface level. But if you have people around you that are not afraid to show you the mirror, then you're very lucky.
Yeah.
And if you have the ability to listen.
That's a really important point, right? And it's hard. That first time you get the tough love feedback.
I'm just like, you're mean. Yeah. And then I'll go back and come back and be like, fine, I needed to hear that. Just, you could have said it nicer.
And there's something to be said, because oftentimes I think especially as women, we're told, go find mentors, go get mentors, and we need those, and sponsors. But senior, right? Someone that's above you, and we need that. I spent 20 years in finance and had incredible male sponsors. Most of the people that I worked with were men, so that made sense, but they were very good mentors and guided me. But what I didn't appreciate probably in my 30s that I do appreciate much more now is peer mentorship. And having the people around you, even your best friend, right? Yes, she's a friend, but she's a peer. And so tapping into this network of peers. So whether you run your own business, you are your mom's group, you're the people that you work with, this idea of peer mentorship is so underestimated.
It really is. I think being able to have people in and around your age or your experience, being able to exchange thoughts and ideas, and you have a sense of safety too, because you're like, okay, we're in the same place, we're in the same boat together. And I think that's it's easy. It's a great tool to be able to, speak your mind. I think more than anything, I encourage young women or women in general is to speak for yourself, advocate for yourself, think about what you want to say, what you want to do, and speak up. It's all right to ask for something for yourself, or it's all right to try and navigate for yourself. It doesn't have to be under the garb of, I'm doing it for the company, or I'm doing it like, it's okay for you to advocate for yourself. And I think, start with the little things. Start with what you might need for yourself. Like I think for a long time, like my mom has been a working mother now, her whole life, and she still has her own clinic. And sometimes I have to remind her as well. She's in her 70s, and I have to remind herself that, you're working for multiple things. She's a founder in my production company. She, has her own clinic. She is on the jury of a children's festival. Like she does so many things, just like me. But I have to remind herself about like, you're pushing yourself so much, but what do you want to do today? And that could be something as little as going to lunch with me and having a chat, or going with her friends, or but I think after I had to really, me and my brother, as her kids, we had to encourage her to kind of find her sense of self outside of work after my dad passed. And now she started doing it, and I see her thrive so much when she has like her community of people, like her friends who are, just like peers for her, who, inspire her to do what she is doing, who also tell her it's okay to chill. But she feels like a sense of, like, I think peer mentorship is basically being able to feel safe enough in an environment and be able to say the things that you might not to someone who's senior.
Yeah,
say
absolutely.
the things. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're in it. Like they
we're in the same boat.
Right? You're in the same boat. And by the way, maybe you have a situation that you've reacted better than I have, so give me advice. And being open, I think that listening thing is such a big part of all of this, right? How many in the audience, how many of you today feel like you have a great mentor? Maybe you have multiple, but raise your hands if you feel like you have a mentor. Okay, so next year when we do this, everyone's hands have to be raised. How many of you came here today with someone else? Okay, amazing. How many of you came by yourself? Incredible. So everyone should pat themselves on the back for showing up. It's a Saturday and investing in yourself, but that's also investing in a network, right? And a community. And I think that's part of this. You never know who you're going to meet here, or any situation, whether that's your workplace or a brunch somewhere, or again, a play date for your kid. So you never know. And I think this idea of community is really important, which also sort of leads to the next question around, they're not my two favorite words, but I know that it's real, this idea of imposter syndrome. I've never met a man in my life that says, what do I do about imposter syndrome? But we do. Rather than saying, I am an investor, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an actor, I'm a producer, I'm an author, I'm a mother, right? I'm describing Priyanka if you didn't know. All the amazing things that we do, but we tend to just focus on the things that we don't have. So as you think about, let's just not even use the word imposter syndrome. Self-confidence, self-worth, advocating for yourself. When you think about your career and sort of where you started to where you're at, how did you advocate for yourself?
I mean, I did and I didn't.
Right.
There were many times when I didn't. There were many times I skirted by the issue. And, for a long time, I think I myself as well only focused on what I didn't have. Like I said just a few minutes ago, I never rested on my laurels. Any win would be bypassed immediately to get to the thing that I don't have. And spending so much time thinking about that. For a long time, I actually thought that was a big reason for my success is, doing that is just not even thinking about the wins and just like focusing on what I don't have and focusing on like, how to fill up this vessel with things that I didn't even know needed filling. Like, I don't know what the next thing is, but I have to move on from my win. But I have realized that it's so much more helpful if you just sit for a second and you recognize what you have achieved, small, big, whatever, and then you move on to the next thing. I just think it's like you said, guys can do it very easily. We find it really tough. But I've had to like actually remind myself to do it. Like, again, practice. It's like going to the gym, you know, you have to work on yourself. Everything is work. You want the right body, you want, you know, whatever, you want to feel good about yourself, you want to have the best voice. Like I said, acting for me, you know, you have to stay in the practice of it. So in the same way, I think practicing choosing yourself, practicing seeing your wins helps set a foundation for confidence somehow. It's like if your life is a box and you have to fill it up with things, as soon as you fill it up with your achievements versus your failures, it's just a stronger foundation to stand on. And that really helped me. I didn't do it very well when I was younger at all. But I think I started as I got older, recognizing myself.
Yeah, I mean, my mom used to say with age comes wisdom, right? Right, and you learn.
For some of us.
Yeah, and you learn over time. You also watch others.
Definitely.
Right, and you watch, hopefully some incredible role models that you see do it better than maybe you've seen, but also...
Or even learning from others' mistakes.
Absolutely.
Totally. Why do you want to wait to make it yourself? You know, you see somebody around you making the mistake, like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's such a great observation. I think also learning from our mistakes, right, and taking those as huge opportunities. We again, as women of color.
Well, first you have to recognize that you're making a mistake.
Yes.
That itself we find hard to do because, you know, I think that's another thing I think as women, you know, we kind of double down on decisions. We're like, well, we decided we're going to do this, so we're just going to stick with it, even if we know it's a mistake, whether that's in, you know, life, relationships, work, whatever. I think sometimes it's okay to give yourself the grace of saying, I don't think I'm going down the right direction. Ooh, I think I may have bitten off more than I can chew. I don't know, somehow we feel the need to prove not just to ourselves but everybody around us that the decision we've made is right. It's okay sometimes. Everyone makes mistakes. Sometimes, you know, things don't work out. And you just kind of pivot and navigate. Change is the most constant thing in life. There's nothing ever that's going to stay the same. Every single day you're going to grow up. I mean, you're going to wake up and grow and see change. You are never the same person you were yesterday. So why are we trying to achieve that? Consistency, this is who I am. That statement does not ring true, because every day with the experiences that you that happen in your life, the people that you meet, everything kind of changes you a little bit. You know, changes the chemistry of you.
Yeah, and those mistakes, those obstacles, those challenges are.
I don't like the word mistake either. I feel like
I hate the word failure as well.
Yeah,
it's not. It's you learn. My father has always said the only time you fail is if you truly just give up. Yeah. And so most of us don't give up. We just keep going. We find our way through.
Yeah, we're tenacious.
Exactly.
Generally, as in our nature, I think, as women.
So is there a specific obstacle or challenge that you faced that led to a breakthrough in your career?
Well, the big one, I think, for me, if I look back immediately, was coming to work in the States. I had a really thriving career in India. I was doing really, really, you know, great work. And I really believe in destiny and hard work going hand in hand. And I do believe in, you know, fate in some way or form. I believe in divinity. I have a lot of faith. I'm God's child. I'm super grateful. And so I feel like I was pushed in a weird way in many, many capacities towards seeking work in the States. I started with doing music. For those of you who might not know, you don't need to know. I have like 4 forgettable songs out there. Don't worry about it. Quickly realized that I should go back to my actual day job, which is acting. Leave the music to other people who can actually do it. But, there was an opportunity at that time, and I'm a big fan of just pop music in general. And I was given an opportunity to be a pop star. And I was like, well, that's different and it's cool. And I was at a phase in my life in India at that time, which was really challenging with work. And so I just decided to just take the leap. I was like, forget it, I need a break. I'm going to go away from all this stuff that I'm stuck in that's challenging right now and go make music. Great. I was in the room with will.i.am, with Pharrell. I was with Bono having lunch. I was like, I'm living my pop star dreams. And very quickly I realized that that's not going to be sustaining me very well. And because I happened to be, and that was a huge challenge because I took a big break with my career in India, and I came here and I started doing music, which now I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a massive failure. And, I'm going to have my tail tucked between my legs and it's going to be really embarrassing. And all those crazy thoughts, which was really terrifying. And I remember chatting with my mentor at that time, Jimmy Iovine, who was also the head of my label. He was my A&R at the time. And I remember at dinner just talking to him and saying, I don't know. I don't know what my next step is. I'm working in India still, but I took a big departure for 2 years. And what I was working on is not at my level of excellence that I would like it to be, and I feel completely lost. And he just said to me, he was like, why don't you look for representation for acting in America? And you're here still, go do some auditions. I hadn't done an audition in like 15 years or something because, I was already doing work in India. Right. I was successful. I'd not auditioned. And I was like, that was terrifying because now I'm like, how do I navigate this new? And the world of Hollywood was totally new to me when I came in from India. I found representation, and I had a first look deal with ABC Studios, and I did a show called Quantico many years ago. But I had this first look deal with ABC Studios where they sent many scripts to me, and I had to audition to get a part on any of the ones that I liked. I'll never forget my first audition that I walked into. Thank God I got the job. I would have quit, I think, if I didn't. But I'll never forget walking in to this audition room. Well, not the room, first the building. And I walked up and there were a few girls sitting in chairs outside and none of them looked like me. And we were auditioning for the same part. So I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to be right for this because and this was for Quantico, which was an American FBI agent, right?
My dad is an FBI agent.
For real agent? Whoa.
Yeah, so we love the show.
Oh, I've actually had a few people who really love Quantico and had ease at the airport because of it. For some reason, people would be like, oh, come here, FBI, come here. And I'm like, yes, I have an in. Or cops who'd be like, oh, come on, FBI. But at that time, when I walked in, I remember I went into the bathroom and I was sweating like bullets. And I was like, all these girls are going in and coming back out. And it was like a movie where I looked into the mirror and I talked to myself. Those scenes you see in romantic comedies where the girl's like, you can do this. And I remember I was like, you can do this. Thankfully, I was alone in the bathroom. And I told myself one thing. I said, I have right now, I think I have about 70 features in IMDb. At that time, I must have had 50, 60 maybe. So I told myself that. I was like, you literally have 60 movies in your credit. Good, bad, ugly, your opinion. But I have done them. I technically know my job. I know how to create characters. And I did what we were just talking about, is pat myself on the back, remind myself of everything that I have achieved so far. And, I found some sort of strut. And I was like, whether I get this or not, I'm going to make them notice me. I'm going to do my job because I'm good at my job. I just reminded myself that I'm good at my job. So I'm just going to do my job. It's really simple. I'm not going to be overwhelmed by how many girls are sitting outside or the fact that this, could be a big break or not. I'm just going to be really good at my job. And I put my blinders on And I, got the gig, so I must have done a good job.
But that's such a, I love the idea of that younger you going into the bathroom and doing that. By the way, it would have been amazing if somebody came out of the stall and also was like, "You are amazing. You are."
That would be like
Right?
that would be a romantic comedy. Somebody just walks out saying,
Right?
"Girl, you got this."
Because we do that.
I think I did it to myself. I was that person
There
who
you
was
go.
like, you got this.
You got
You've
this.
done too much of this to not know it.
Yeah.
So I took away the power of that first audition.
All of those other people don't look like me. I can do this.
Just all the noise.
Yeah.
Just all the noise. Take away all the noise and just remind yourself of the task at hand. Just as simple as that. Do you have to write an article? Do you have to proofread something? Do you have to, say 2 pages of dialogue? Like, just simplify it. As soon as we simplify it into the basic of what has to be achieved, all the noise disappears. But that's also practice.
And not everyone is Priyanka Chopra Jonas either.
Such a long name.
Right?
Just call me Pri. So long.
But there are a lot of, and the reason Marshall's launched the Good Stuff Social Club and now the Good Stuff Accelerator Program is because there are a lot of women that are needing access. We talked about the access gap. We talked about it in the mentorship session, that are needing access to mentorship, to communities, to skills, to resources. Do you have any advice for someone who's just feeling quite stuck?
Oh, yeah. I've been in that place many, many times. I think what's really helped me when I'm stuck is just taking one step. Mm-hmm. Just one step. One step in a direction. It doesn't even have to be the right direction. Just, you have to keep moving, and you're going to be stuck. Like, there've been so many times I've been inspirationally stuck or creatively stuck or just tangibly stuck and not knowing what the next job is. And like, my job as an actor is really inconsistent, right? It's like gig to gig. It's not 9 to 5. I'm not getting a check every month. It's like, what's the next thing? So you kind of train yourself to having that fight or flight mode constantly, right? Oh my gosh, if my next year is empty, can it be empty? Do I have something? So there's always a sense of stress. And I've really felt that, whenever you're stuck for whatever reason, again, if we overwhelm ourselves and think about all the reasons why we're stuck, you're never going to be able to move. Just taking one step. What's the thing you can do? What's the easiest thing you can do? Can I have a conversation with someone? Can I, maybe watch something? If it's too overwhelming right now, watch TV, come back to it. Can I take a pause? How can you move forward to relieve yourself from feeling that way? And that's for any emotion, by the way. It could be for like when you're angry, when you're emotional, when you're grieving, for any extreme big feeling. I think to be able to take a step back, it's okay. And to take one step forward when you're ready is really helpful.
I love that. That's such a great advice. And I'm going to sort of segue into the accelerator program. So which
is so exciting.
We just launched, I think a week and a half ago, the Marshall's Good Stuff Accelerator program. And in partnership with Luminary, we're very excited to be a part of this because of what we do every day to give women and allies access to community and resources and content and network. This program, what excites you about this program? Because for me, it's getting a room together like this and everyone walking away with a bit of advice and a new connection. But this is a year-long program. What excites you? What do you think good can come out of this program?
I think it's incredible, first of all, that 40 women get the tangible resources for a year to achieve your dreams, like whatever your ambition might be. That's wild. It's like you don't get that. That's an incredible access that is having a support system around you that'll help you figure out how to like pull apart your ambition and to achieve each piece of it. You also have a cash component this time, which is a one-time grant that can be really, really helpful for, women starting their own businesses or, taking that one step in that direction. It is just so inspiring to have actual tangible help. And that's what I think this accelerated program really is. It's help if you're stuck or if you want to move. I wanted to actually ask you, how do you pick the women?
Well, there are lots. We have had an incredible response. I won't even say how many applications, but it's been
we've got a lot of applications,
which is amazing. And we've got almost 3 weeks left. So, by the way, in your gift goodie bags, get it, good stuff. Your goodie bags, you can apply. There's a QR code right there. I would highly recommend you do it. We're going to take the stories, right? My biggest thing is tell your story. Tell your story. And it is going to be a tough job. I have a great team. So
I don't envy your job at all.
Hopefully this builds to a lot more opportunity, and we're excited to have you as a partner in this as well. And we've got lots of programs, and we've got a peer coaching platform and mentorship that's part of this program. So
it's so well supported in a 360 kind of way that I feel like the beneficiaries of this program will really, really see a big difference in their lives.
It doesn't matter what you do. I think this is the thing you were talking about. It doesn't matter what your card says, or if you don't have a card, if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're just trying to figure out you're in transition. This is what we do by having a community. I know we have to wrap up. I want to.
Wow, it's been an hour already.
I know. You were a little worried.
I was
going to have a lot to talk about.
I was like, what are we going to talk about for an hour? I hope I'm interesting enough for an hour. Okay. I made them laugh a few times. Okay.
But I am going to ask one of the questions that came in from one of the audience members. What has been the most fulfilling way you have shown up for yourself or someone else?
Well, for someone else, I think it's easy. We all do that for people. It's like as women, we're the ones that will show up. But showing up for myself, I've taken decisions to step out of situations where it might feel like if you stepped out of a situation, whether it's a job or for me, movies, I've walked away from situations which I knew would be toxic for me and which I knew would surround me with people that would negatively affect my life. And that wasn't easy. It's not easy, but I was raised that way, of having a really a moral compass for myself. Not society, not the world, not my parents, but a moral compass for myself where, it triggers if it doesn't feel right. We have instincts as women, which are our gut checks, which we must listen to. Our instincts are so spot on that if your instinct is telling you this doesn't feel right, just back away from it. Somebody once told me you have to be able to walk away from a deal if you want it on your terms. So advocating for yourself is walking away from something that might seem like, wow, this will be life-changing, but just walk away from it. And if it's meant to be yours, it'll come back in a better and more amazing way.
That's such a great way to end. I think I want to thank you for being so vulnerable and transparent and honest.
I know, was I too honest?
No, it was great. Real talk. That's what we need to do more of, right? Real talk.
Yes,
so thank you, Priyanka, for being here, for being a partner. I have 2 pieces of homework for the audience. Are you ready? So always a call to action at Luminary. One is you need to leave here today with a brand new connection that you actually follow up with. The second is I want you to write down 3 ways in the last month that you are remarkable.
So great.
Yes, Priyanka and Cate, great job. I was taking it all in too, taking notes. But just in case you missed anything, these videos are going to be accessible online in the coming weeks. You can go to marshallsgoodstuffsocialclub.com. And also, as we were talking about the accelerator program, it is open and the QR code is in your goodie bag. We are going to open up the door, so we want to make sure you exit to the left, but leave your clipboards because we have so much more going on today. Let's hear it again for Priyanka and Cate. Okay.
Some of you brought me some stuff. I just wanted to say thank you. I don't know who it was, but I got some gifts back there. Thank you. Thank you. That's really sweet. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.